All right, so we have some similar topics, some different topics, a lot of stuff going on in the market, a lot of people talking about many different views from their perspective. And as you know me, we're going to talk about my perspective, what I'm seeing and hearing. So if anything I've ever said to you before resonated with you, stick around because we're going to be talking about moving to Florida. Is there any right answer in this market right now? We're getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, and if you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time, and be sure to get on our website to start searching for properties just like we do in the MLS. Go to our nextfloridahome.com, get started there. And like I always say, if you have a specific question that you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. All right, so like I said, we're looking for answers. Everybody's looking for the right answer. What is the answer? I can't tell you the answer. I can tell you what's going on. I can tell you about all the scenarios that I'm seeing with my buyers and sellers. But that's the only true way that I can tell you what I'm seeing. The Florida market is not going to be the same as every other market. Where you're from, it might be completely different. But I will tell you, now's the time that if you're really thinking about doing something, you need to decide it now. Get off the fence and come act, or just sit where you are and accept that you're going to be there for a while, because everything I'm hearing with rates going up, trying to level out this inflation, I think hit 9% now. So we have a process going on where they're trying to control that inflation. And in controlling that, they have to keep pushing up the interest rates. So it's going to slow some of the buying down. But funny enough, when I look at the stats, there are 2.5 times as many homes leaving the market than coming in. There's a lot more homes leaving the market than coming in. And again, this is specific to Southwest Florida because that's our MLS that I'm taking those stats from. And that's been tracking that way for the last few days as I've been looking at it, just to try to get a pulse on what's going on here. So if you're somebody that's been thinking about doing something and you have your pre-qual in hand and you just haven't been certain, there are some options on in the market right now. I've had a number of people reaching out to me. We're going to talk about some of the things that have been happening to them so that you better understand what you might be dealing with when you get into the market. So I've been reading many different articles and seeing all these videos. Everybody has an opinion about what the market's doing, where it's going, and what you should do. I'm going to tell you that most of it, I think, is just a little bit of hype, maybe trying to get people to make decisions and act on things faster. Look, man, I don't care what direction anyone wants to go. If they want information on which way they should go, I'll tell you what's happening here. And I'll tell you that all those people saying that there is a bubble that's going to burst and that things are going to get terrible and that we're seeing all this bad stuff that's going to happen, we're not seeing it here yet. Is it coming? I can't say. I don't have a crystal ball. But I can tell you that we are seeing some strong indications that people are still going to be buying here. Just this past week, I had 3 different clients ask me to push up the price of their search for their home. Pushing up the price to search for a home, that doesn't sound like the market's declining, does it? No, they can't find what they want in the lower price bracket they were searching, so we had to push it up. And we're pushing up 100,000 at a time trying to find something that will work. So if that's any indication to you about what's going on in this market, I'm going to give you some additional statistics that have to do with also the rental market here just in a minute. And it's kind of crazy where things are going. So rentals, I am absolutely not going to recommend that to anybody. It has nothing to do with me wanting to sell you a piece of real estate because you can do that with 100 other people. I just want you to not make a mistake and do it the right way. So here's a heck of an indicator. We're talking about what the market's doing and how everybody's afraid, right? This week, I saw a report that an investment firm that was backed by Goldman Sachs, they came to Florida and purchased $45.7 million development of 87 single-family rental homes. Yeah, in Florida. So there's this huge investment firm that's backed by a massive corporation, and they're coming in and buying a development in Florida. Now, does that sound like it would be smart money if the market's declining? No. And how many experts do you think back up and put in information to these funds? There's a lot of them. So if they're making that investment, that might tell you that things really aren't as bad as what you're hearing on the investment side, on the purchase side. So once again, as I always say, if it's affordable today and affordable next week, next month, next year, just do the thing, get it done, lock up your house, get your piece of Florida so that you can start enjoying it too. All right, so this afternoon I was speaking to Paul, and he was telling me about this Cape West 91 Villas, or 91 Villas, however they say it. It's a brand new complex. I've ridden by it. In fact, it's probably in some of my old video, rode by it as they were building it because it was kind of thrown in the middle of a neighborhood. Yeah, surrounded by single-family homes, just this complex thrown in. Anyway, it's up and running, and it is almost full. From what Paul was telling me, they've got 9 units left. You know what those 9 units are? 1 bed, 1 bath. The least desirable of the type of apartment that you would be renting right now. That's what they have left. Wait until I tell you for how much. Anyway, Paul was telling me a story. He's over there. I think he moved in there about 2 weeks ago. And he moved into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit. And he said it's actually probably a little more space than he needs. So he rented this thing out for $19.50 a month. And when he went down to the office to see if he can get a 1-1, they were kind of looking at him sideways like he might have bumped his head. And he couldn't figure out what that was about. Until they told him that the 1-1s are now going for $19.50 and the 2-2s are going for $23.50. Now, he just moved in 2 weeks ago. Paid $19.50 for the same unit that is now $23.50. What's up with that? That's a huge jump in a 2-week period. That's what's going on in the rental market right now. And to make matters worse, one of the perks, I guess, of moving into this place is they only want first and $1,000 security. But, and this is a big but, to qualify to get into this place, you need $6,600 a month net income. Yeah, I said net, not gross. So that's going to make it much higher, because once you throw the gross in there and all the taxes and things that are taken out, that's a pretty significant number. We're starting to get towards 6 figures just to qualify to get into a 2-2 or a 1-1 apartment. Now, to make matters worse, you heard the price, right? Whether it's $2,000, $2,300, whatever that is, they also want to tack on a $25 a month charge for trash removal. Are you kidding me? Isn't that enough money? Now you gotta dink and dunk me for a little bit more? This is what's happening. When I asked him about that, he said, yeah, that's what's happening in most complexes around here. They have these extra fees they're throwing on top of it. I don't know where that rental market's going, but it's happening everywhere. I looked up a couple other apartment complexes. Aspire, that's right here too. It's one of the newest ones. They're starting at $19.60 for a 1-1. Once again, that $19,000 to $2,000 for a 1-bed, 1-bath is now the new standard for Cape Coral. So if you're looking for a rental, be careful. Check all this stuff over. There's a lot of competition. There's not very much availability. Like I said, this new place, this Cape West 91 Villas, whatever that is, they have 9 units and they're 1-1s. Most families aren't going to be able to use a 1-1. This is just for a single person. If that's what's out there, you best keep searching and get in. If you know you're moving here in a couple months, you got to get in early, secure something early. If you're bound to determine or have to rent, you've got to get ahead of this. And as we get back into season at the end of this year, it's going to get even worse. So prepare in advance. Okay, so another reason to hire a professional. There's an intricate scam, fraudulent rental and purchase thing that was going on here recently. It's just been reported. There's 2 ladies that have been doing this for quite a period of time. And whether it was people that they checked through the obituaries to find out they had passed, check estate sales, check all this stuff, and they basically assume ownership by drawing up a bunch of false documents. And then what they do is they go out and they send this out as false listings. So nowadays, as you might know, there's a number of companies out there. We're not even going to get into name calling and which ones they are, but you can post your sales and your rentals on these sites. And you can collect money. One of the things the police said about this is don't be sending gift cards, don't be sending wires to people. Confirm everything that you're getting yourself into. But the professionals are the ones that really are going to be crossing the T's, dotting the I's for you. Because in this particular situation, there were 6 counties, there were 7 title companies established to make all this happen. There were 25 properties roughly and about 45 victims that were so far that they've been able to find that were involved in this scheme. And they literally had taken over $300,000 from these people in deposits and fake purchases throughout the time of doing this. Yes, they finally did get busted, but the point is that they were able to pull this off to the tune of $300,000. So if you're somebody and you're in a desperate situation, you need somewhere to live. I get it. I understand things are kind of bleak at times, and you just want to have a place that you know you can call home. You have to watch who you're going to. You have to really have your background checks and things like that in order. Find out who these people are, who the companies are associated with. Do as much background checking and homework on it as you can, or come to somebody like myself. We'll help you get through the process so that you're not going to be strung along like all of these people. Now, I'm going to tell you, never pass up a home inspection on anything that isn't brand new. And you know what? Even the inspectors will say do the brand new ones. But I'm going to tell you, absolutely get the inspection. Michael and he put this great home under contract. He was in love with it. He had all kinds of plans for it. We went to the inspection. Everything started off great. You know, the house was looking good overall to start. Get down to the dock. We noticed that the cantilever dock, the wall, is starting to lean out from the land. It's starting to have pressure from the dirt up above. Then we also noticed the washout throughout the yard going down to this section of the seawall. Then we find that the seawall is starting to crack. Go inside. We find that the cage is starting to separate from the house, where literally you can move this cage up and down. Then you go inside. We found moisture in the wall and mold, all kinds of stuff going on in this house. We had to back out of this as fast as we possibly could. We haven't identified another home just yet. Mike's going to be coming down and visiting me. We're going to get him something, but that inspection is vital. You have to do the inspection. You never know what you're going to find, and you don't want to be stuck under a few $100,000 guessing if you happen to pass up that contingency. Contingencies are there for a purpose, and unless you feel really, really good and really solid about something, don't give up your contingencies. Now I want to tell you a good story. This is about Ashley and Kelly. We happened to find them an amazing house. This thing had the views that were just ridiculous. I almost wanted to take the home from them. Now, I told them as much. I told them I liked the house that much, but obviously I'm not going to do that. They found this home and they were a little concerned at first because the home had literally sold 30 days before we found it. And they're wondering what's going on with this house. Why is it back on the market right away? It's not like it was they were asking a lot of money for it over and above what they spent. It wasn't. So we had to do a little digging. This is one thing that you have to do, or make sure that people that are working for you on your behalf are doing. Pick up the phone. You have to talk to people. You have to find out what's going on. When I called the agent, I found out that these folks made a big mistake. All the furnishings that they were bringing down from their Tennessee property would not fit in this house. They thought it was going to be big enough. Lo and behold, it's not. They needed to buy a bigger home, which they did. So now they needed to sell this one to be able to move into that next one. So it's an opportunity for Kelly and Ashley to have a fantastic home. And I'm going to tell you, in times past, I might have ran from that property too, wondering what the heck could be wrong with this, because it was just turned around that fast. It was just a situation, and a little bit of conversation gave us the truth to the scenario, and so far everything's going fantastic. We went through our inspection, we worked through all that, everything went great, and we're just now going to work towards closing. So don't pass up opportunities just because of what it looks like. Do a little homework. You never know what could be inside that scenario. Now, as far as furnishings, personal property, all this stuff that you may or may not get with a home, and right now, obviously, people are looking to get it because it's so hard to get after the fact. Do yourself, do me, do every agent out there a favor. Don't get demanding about the furniture. Don't put a lot of focus on it. Don't say, I have to have this or have that. The furniture is an extra. If you happen to get it, great. If they make it negotiable and you can work out a good price, wonderful. Do not make it an all-important part of this transaction. The house is what you're after first and foremost. Furnishings can come later. If you can get them now, wonderful. But again, don't focus too much on what you're getting. Kind of let that just happen the way it should, and the transaction will go much smoother. Now, speaking of this furniture situation, as I said, it is a challenge right now to find furnishings for a home. So if you can't get them with the house, do yourself a favor. You're not going to find, in most cases, exactly what you want in the main stores as you once were able to do so. So a lot of people are turning towards thrift stores. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, that's used furniture. I don't want that. There's a way to do this. Go to the nicer areas and you're going to get some fantastic furniture. I've talked to some people that have taken trips down to Naples to some of the thrift stores down there, and the stuff that they're finding is fantastic, and it at a real discount because it's a thrift store. So if you are in that position that you need furniture and you can't find it anywhere, check out the thrift store. Now, one thing I will tell you, and I've been doing it a lot lately, as things start heating up. Now, heating up means different things to different people, but one thing you can't mistake is your car or truck will get hot fast in the Florida sun. And you're not going to always find shade to park under. That is a coveted premium space if you can find it in a parking lot. So get yourself an auto shade. Make sure you're putting this up every time you step out of your car. Even if you think that it's only 15 to 30 minutes, that car gets very hot, and that shield in your window is going to make it much cooler when you get back. So make sure you get one. Now, I saw this thing the other day talking about tax-free gas. Okay, sounds good. I could go with that. In October. What the hell? Why are we waiting till October? I think people could use it now, especially as we're coming into the summertime and everybody wants to travel and do the things, get around, go do things with the kids. What the hell's October going to do for us? Get us the tax discount now on gas. Now, you might have heard me speak about this before, but there's an annual parking pass at $60 for the year. I just renewed mine because there's so many parks and even boat ramps that you can use this at. So if you're somebody that's always into being outside, if you have a boat and you're going to be hitting the ramps, get this pass. It's going to get you into dozens of locations, and I'll go ahead and post the link to the site that you can get that information on. Get the pass one time, $60, and you're done. Now, if you saw lately, they're talking about the hungry sharks off the coast of Florida. Hungry sharks? Did you have to say hungry sharks? How do we know they're hungry? And what are they going to eat? So there's obviously a lot of scare tactics that are in the media. This is the latest. Dozens of sharks circling around in the water. Okay. Anyway, this is another way to get people to maybe not come to the area. I'm going to tell you, I've been here over 25 years. Sharks are not my concern. Do I like being in the water all the time? Not necessarily, but it's not just the sharks. There's a lot of stuff out there that you may not care for. Jellyfish is another big one. We have those as well. Stingrays. Just keep going. Barracuda. All that stuff is out there. So you're either going to swim in it or you're not. But circling sharks are not circling to get to you. They might be feeding, migrating, whatever they're doing. But if you're seeing this in the media, just pass. That's not the only wildlife we're seeing lately. There was a 10-foot gator taken out of a pool up near Tampa. And I saw earlier today, I'll try to get some information to show you, but there was even a gator that was captured outside of the door of a school today. So the more construction, the more we're taking away the natural habitats. We're pushing more and more wildlife into areas that they weren't always previously, and we may see more of. So don't be afraid. They're not trying to get you. They're probably just as scared of you as you are of them. So do your best. Call the animal services to get some help on that, and let them be. Keep your distance. All right, so there you are. Moving to Florida. Is there any right answer in this housing market? And if you've got any questions that you have that I didn't cover in this video, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a question for me that you absolutely need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.